Our previous episode took us through the streets of Knoxville, Tennessee with paranormal investigation expert J. Adam Smith from Knoxville Paranormal Adventure Tours. We uncovered compelling evidence, including spirit box recordings and flashlight activity at the East Tennessee History Center, as well as our Estes Method session evidence by the iconic Rowing Man statue landmark. These extraordinary experiences significantly intensified our eagerness for the Saturday night investigation. Our second night proved to be just as exciting as the first. Our tour guide Liz from Knoxville Ghosts, U.S. Ghost Adventures, led us to different reputable haunted locations through the streets of Knoxville. We started at the Craighead Jackson House near the Blount Mansion. It didn't take long for some strange paranormal activity to occur.
It has many windows. The Cherokee people call this the house with many eyes. Perhaps it's the windows. Perhaps it is spirits of people who have been trapped there looking out at the living. So a large house like this would be a place where people who were sick would come to be taken care of in times during a pandemics and epidemics. So Knoxville has had its fair share over the years. Yellow fever, diphtheria, kind of the nasty stuff that everybody talks about, but especially a really bad bout of the Spanish flu in 1919. So this was after World War I, when the soldiers were returning home from war. They would get off the train in Market Square, hug their loved ones, go out and have a good time, unknowingly spreading the disease around the whole town. And so
visitors to this particular location will claim they hear coughing, wheezing, and even feel eyes peering through the windows at them, longingly wondering why others have left, while they have remained trapped here for eternity.
And there's right now no plans to do anything with it. And so you'll see that there's lights on. These lights have been on for a while, but so that light on the corner, not that one, the one that's kitty corner from it. Last week when we were walking through here on a tour, a guy saw that light turn on, like literally as we were walking down the street. So we're not sure why the lights are going on. We don't think that there's people living there, like squatting or anything. It's possible that workers are in there during the day, but at nighttime we don't know why the lights are on.
She said it's not supposed to be on. That wasn't on. I just recorded that. That was not on.
The light, by the way.
I think her name's Liz. That light just came on. That was not on. I just recorded it.
Just turn on?
Yeah. I actually have video of it and it's not on. Now it's on. Right there, the second one over. That was not on. The only one on was the one on the end. Yeah, that's on now.
It's not on. So I think we got it on camera.
So this is the Bijou Theater, possibly Knoxville's most haunted location. This building was built in 1815, as you guessed it, a luxury hotel. Interestingly, that would have been the hotel, and this was the theater. This would have been the opera theater called the Stout. So you had the hotel over there, theater over here. Now clearly things have changed. So in 1815, as a hotel, this would stay a hotel well into the Civil War in the 1860s. At that time, it was called the Lamar House, and it was also used as a hospital. So again, these older buildings are used to tend to people who are in need at the time. So this was used as both a Union and Confederate hospital. In fact, one general passed away here. He was wounded in a nearby battle and was brought here to be tended to, and he passed away the next day. After the Civil War, the theater kind of went through different phases, if you will, including being a used car lot. I'm not entirely certain. It was a place for transient people, and it became pretty run down by the middle of the 1900s. And then in the 1980s, it was purchased and started to get refurbished into this beautiful theater that you see today. But possibly the most famous ghost, if you will, comes from a story called The Tale of Two Thomases. So at the time that this was the Lamar House, this was owned by a man named Thomas Sneed. And his rival hotel buddy was also named Thomas Atkins. And so one night, the two Thomases went on a bender. They hit it pretty hard. And they came back to the Lamar house about 3 in the morning, and Atkins said, "I would like a glass of water."
Surgeon.
Atkins says, "I want a glass of water." And Sneed says, "What do you need a glass of water for? You need a man's drink." So of course they started fighting. The fight started to escalate, and all of a sudden Sneed said, "He's got a knife." He pulled out his own gun and bang, shot Atkins. Atkins fell dead right there. Sneed was never held accountable, even though it was pretty obvious of what happened. He claimed self-defense and was able to get away with it. But basically, his reputation was tarnished, and several years later, he passed away. Now the two are buried practically next to each other in the old gray cemetery. So now they're hanging out in the afterlife. But people claim that they'll see a ghost walking around here looking lame. Like when So we're gonna move on to our next stop. Knoxville's oldest church, which would be Knoxville's oldest graveyard, associated with the Presbyterian. Do you know the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard?
Yep.
Graveyards are attached to churches. So if it's not attached to a church, then it's a cemetery. Like pet cemetery. So the land for this was donated by James White, who was the first person to come here and settle Knoxville as we know it today. This was a turnip yard, a field of turnips for him, and I believe that's a turnip. I've never actually seen a turnip in my life, but I think
Yeah,
that's
it's a turnip.
homage to where it came from. And so basically, the church wasn't built yet. The land was donated for the church, and so it took a little bit for the church to be built and established. But the graveyard, they pretty much needed space immediately to put their departed friends. And so we have our William Blunt, our governor, who's buried right here. He was buried in 1800. Next to him is his wife, Mary, who passed away 2 years later. The last person to be buried here was buried in the 1870s. So it's been a little while since they've had a new resident move in. They went to go get him. The Union Army demanded that he come
Who's
out of
stepping
his house.
forward?
Dr. Baker said, "I'm not doing it." So
I
they
can
went
feel you.
shot through the door, and Dr. Baker passed away. His son, Abner, was so mad, he's like, "I'm going after whoever called out my dad." He found
I am
out
not
it was
scared.
so
You may step forward.
So Abner Baker killed William
I'm here to make communication. I want to know what happened to you.
The friends of William Hall formed
Does your body reside here?
after Abner Baker.
Was this your final resting place?
Down to the river where they strung him up, and it said that he spent 24 hours on so when he had passed away, they took him down and brought him up here. I'll show you where he's buried, but he's buried in here. And people say that if you do kind of a little ghost hunt EVP session around there using EMF, that the equipment will kind of turn on and kind of indicate that he's around.
Is that true?
For people who are around here who are paranormal tourists, if you will, highly recommend the Old Gray Cemetery. That would be the second oldest.
Yeah, she's telling us your story.
But it's the second oldest
We are guided.
place of the dead.
Should we go to a specific location?
Totally looks different than this. So that's going to be more of like. So if you're keen,
Do you have
in here, we can kind of.
purgatory?
5 to 10 minutes.
I heard heaven first. Now purgatory.
And I can show you where Abner is, and we'll reconvene in a few minutes.
211.
Yeah, I know. I'm coming over to where I kept feeling you.
Dear Jesus
What about
Christ
Jesus?
was
Jesus Christ. Are you with Jesus?
Do it every day.
I don't want to step on anybody's body.
to thee.
Is there a certain grave you would like me to go to? Children? Is there any children buried here? No. All adults?
So the
You guys are very lively. Agua? Are you asking
long tradition.
tradition? Is this... Oh, church music. Yeah. This is a beautiful garden. Hello. Do you come sit here often?
Just to live.
Just to live? Hey. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on you. I mean no disrespect.
Just a second.
Move it. You guys have a beautiful gravesite.
What? Oh, what do you mean?
What do you mean? I mean, you giggle. You guys are very sweet. I like you guys. But no, you have a pretty view. Got the big, the big sky. These are some pretty big tree. Do you give this tree some energy? Hmm?
The cemetery exceeded expectations. The ambiance was distinctively solemn and slightly foreboding, with hidden corners that fostered an eerie sense of being watched. Several times we felt an electric shock-like sensation feeling moving up our backs or arms, as though we were walking through the mist of those now past. It was definitely a humbling location that beckoned respect and reverence. We received a detailed account of the University of Tennessee's history, which spans back to just before the 1800s. Initially called Blount University, it was renamed to the University of Tennessee in 1879.
Perkins Hall. So this was built in 1949. When they were digging the hole for the foundation, they found 8 bodies of Civil War soldiers. And so they respectfully removed the bones and put them in a proper location. But people will claim to see a group of soldiers walking around, kind of huddled together talking. And they're wondering if they're looking for their own bones, or possibly they're thinking about what their next military maneuvers are going to be. Also look for Hoskins Library. There's a ghost there by the name of Evening Primrose. So it's not quite sure where she came from, if she was a doctoral student, if she was a librarian who works there. But people claim that the books get knocked down, the elevator is called when nobody gets on or off. And there's also a strong smell of cornbread because she was an avid baker. So see if you're going around, see if you can see Evening Primrose.
Okay.
Also see if you can find Strong Hall. The building was built from a donation from this woman's kid in honor of her, so Sophie. And so there's one room in the building. It's a dormitory. There's one room where they claim that Sophie she's pretty mischievous. She locks the door, won't let you in. So this is the second oldest house in Knoxville. Do you want to cross here?
Yep.
And what's interesting about this house is there's no other house really that looks like this. So this was the original house was built in the architecture of the time, but the family that lived here, the Park family, they had so many kids that they had to add on. And so they added on, and so it looks like an L. And so there aren't any other houses
a red
that
room.
look like this.
That's a red room.
I think architecturally it's kind of a fascinating feature.
Sorry, I saw a red light. I'm like, why would they need a red room? But it's the exit sign. That's all
Yeah.
While the rest of us listened to the detailed history of the James Park House, Mary took a tour of her own with the Spirit Talker and captured the voices of what appeared to be several different spirits wanting to communicate. One even offered to allow her in to visit.
Can you tell me about this house? Can you tell me who may have lived in it? Who still might reside in it? Was this your house? Did you have a favorite room? Did you have a favorite room in the house?
I'm really great.
May I come up? May I come up the back?
Oh, there's a...
Do you like your house?
Yes, in Seattle.
You have a beautiful home. Whoa. That is very...
And love. And
Hello. You have a beautiful location. Ooh. There are too many spirits coming in at once. Such a beautiful house. Thank you. Home, yeah. Very nice. Yeah, it is a very nice home. James Park House. Beautiful.
you see,
Who's the male spirit trying to come through?
come in.
I can't come in. I'm not allowed. I'm sorry. There are rules. Don't shoot me. Told me to come in multiple times. I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry.
The other people.
The other people, yeah, I'm with them. I'm with the other. I've been talking to them around the same voices a couple times.
Oh, wow.
So,
They're in there. It's not a bad vibe, though. It's actually a very peaceful vibe.
All right. So this is courthouse, jail. This block has kind of been this penal system connection for
That explains why we were getting negative 10.
Yeah, you could feel it.
I'm like, I don't know
As soon as
what
you
that
went around the corner, it was like,
it's like, I'm like, no, it's not to the left. I'm like, it's to the right. So, sorry.
Yep, across the street over
yeah,
there.
you could feel it.
So finally, I want to talk about Brushy, which we talked about a little bit. Brushy's about, it's probably about an hour from where we stand, just west of here. It was built in 1896 on top of a coal mine, and the idea was that the prisoners would work the mines in order to make money for the state. So it was always going to be dirty, it was always going to be dark, it was always going to be an awful place. Brushy was Tennessee's only maximum security prison, and it housed James Earl Ray, who killed Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It also housed the fast food killer, was Paul Dennis Reed, who was out Nashville way. He went through some fast food joints and just kind of randomly killed people. So kind of awful. It was also mentioned in Silence of the Lambs. So when Hannibal Lecter was going to be transferred as part of the deal that he cut, he was supposed to be transferred to Brushy. So kind of an interesting, weird connection there. So anyways, Brushy, as I mentioned, was always going to be dirty and it was always going to be dark. When I talked before about the pandemics and epidemics that came through Knoxville, those were especially nasty in a prison setting like Brushy. And so in some cases, you know, a third or a quarter of the population would be wiped out at any time. But death was not uncommon. It's thought that there was a story of somebody getting chopped into pieces and tried to flush down the toilet. I'm not sure exactly where that comes from, but that is a story that perpetuates out of there. The thing about dying at Brushy was they would put the bodies in this room behind cell block D, which was solitary confinement. If the family came to claim the body, the body would leave. If they weren't claimed, they were kind of thrown in this little cemetery on campus, on site, and that cemetery is still there. It's overgrown, it's not kept up. But there's just all these unmarked graves, essentially, of people who were kind of discarded there. And so, of course, there's plenty of stories of spirits. Some notably, there was a ghost hunting team that went in that played the I Have a Dream speech by Dr. King, and at the cell where James Earl Ray was held, and they heard an audible hush, and then they were basically followed for the rest of the night. So everywhere they went, they would see shadows in the cells as they were walking by, and they always kind of had that uneasy feeling.
Oh, they're really gonna love me because my birthday is January 19th, baby. Day after Martin Luther King's birthday. So let's go, spirit.
So it's a fascinating place, though. It closed fairly recently, and there are still people who were guards or who were inmates that are there, and they tell the stories and they do the tours. And so you can go there and get firsthand accounts of what it was like to actually stay or work in Brushy Mountain. And a lot of people claim that it's eerie when they leave. You know, it's such a strange place to begin with, and then when they leave and go to their car, they're not quite sure that everything that's there at Brushy is staying at Brushy. So if and when we go, we'll have to just be careful of that when we're done.
We'll definitely cleanse. Yeah, we'll cleanse.
Yeah,
Yeah, we gotta keep everything there.
Yeah, nothing can follow us home.
Our night with Liz exceeded our expectations. The evidence we captured enriched our overall Knoxville experience. At the time, we were unaware that our hotel had a little hidden gem that was waiting to be discovered. Join us next week as we reveal a hidden location and bonus material from our adventures in Knoxville, Tennessee.